Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the We're Not Stumped podcast. I'm your host, Mike Boland, and today is News and Notes. It's a Thursday, so let's go over some stories that I found, and this is for the week of February 24th, 2025. Today is February 27th, 2025. Couple show notes real quick. On February 25th, the episode with Jessica Cox, the first person born without arms to earn her pilot's license, that went live. It's a must listen. If you haven't listened to that episode yet, go back and listen to that episode. It came out a couple days ago as I'm recording this. And a quick thank you to Discount Tire, who came on board to sponsor this podcast. And that means a lot to me. I spent 30 years at Discount Tire. I started changing tires in the stores. I think we all know in the limb loss community, general disabled community, sometimes the hardest thing to do is gain meaningful employment. And I went all the way up into the corporate office and did some really fun things there. I spent 30 years with that organization. They came on board because they want to make sure that the messages and the voices that are shared on the We're Not Stumped podcast is getting to the people that need to hear it. So again, thank you so much to Discount Tire for coming on board and being a sponsor of the We're Not Stumped podcast. So news and notes, headline number one. Let's get right to it. This one comes courtesy of KFOR.com, and the byline is Mecca Thompson. And here is the headline. News 4 viewer gives new electric wheelchair to woman amputee rescued from fire. And here is the story. A former Pay It Forward recipient and Navy veteran is helping a Metro woman after she lost everything in an apartment fire. Jeanette Ingram remembers the moment she was rescued from her burning apartment Saturday morning. And this just came out a couple days ago, so this was last Saturday. This was February, whatever the date that would have been, probably 23rd or something like that. No, I guess that would have been the 22nd. So here's a quote from Janet. I remember 3 firemen pulled me out, but they got there so fast. I mean, they were there immediately. I'm just so blessed that no one else got hurt, Ingram said. Ingram is an amputee and has been living at the Summerwood Apartments on Southwest 67th and Western for several years. Navy veteran and News 4 viewer Stacy Reddig was watching the newscast Saturday. He said, "We always watch Channel 4 and this story came on and this lady's apartment was burned down with her electric wheelchair in there. And she was an amputee. And I could just not believe it." Reddick said that he felt the need to do something, so he called our station and is donating a new electric wheelchair to Ingram. Wow. Awesome, Mr. Stacy Reddig. Replacing the one that burned in the fire. Although Ingram is in the hospital, we called her to share the good news and connect the two. Ingram was moved to tears while on the phone with Reddig. I just can't thank you enough for your hospitality and generosity, Ingram said. And if you go to KFOR.com, you can see a picture of the wheelchair that he's donating. It's beautiful. Reddick started his company, Wheelchairs for Veterans, 5 years ago with a mission to help veterans and people in need. We need to make sure that our VFW posts are equipped with wheelchairs, hospital beds, and I thought, well, why not just go all over the United States and deliver these to veterans who need them and their families. Wow, great mission, Mr. Reddig. Reddick said it's been a rewarding job, and he loves it. He was also named Veteran of the Year by Governor Kevin Stent in 2024. Gosh, congratulations on that. Once Ingram is out of the hospital, the two plan to meet in person, and Reddig will give her the wheelchair. What a great story. So sorry, Jeanette Ingram, for losing everything in the fire, but it's people like Stacy Ingram Stacy Reddig that makes the story at least come out a little better. Stacy, thank you for everything you do. This Wheelchairs for Veterans. I tried to look it up. I would have given you a shout out. I don't see they have a website, but if there's any way anyone in that area of, let's see, where they're Oklahoma City, can let Mr. Reddig know how much he's appreciated throughout the country, not just locally here. Great story. Good job, Stacy Reddig, and again, Stacy, great job, Stacy Reddig and Jeanette Ingram. We certainly hope everything works out best for you. So let's get to story number 2. And this one is also kind of a feel-good story to a certain extent. And I don't have a byline, unfortunately. I don't know who wrote this story, but this is on Dayton247now.com. And here's the headline. Ohio police officers rescue double amputee veteran stuck in ice in wheelchair. And here's how the story goes. A pair of police officers went above and beyond to assist a man in his wheelchair as it became stuck in the ice on Monday. Ernest Williams, a 76-year-old U.S. Army veteran and double amputee, found himself stranded on a sidewalk on Market Avenue in Canton after discovering the Veterans Affairs office was closed for the holiday. Williams, who spent 2 years in the military, expressed pride in his service. And here's a quote from Mr. Williams. "Because this is my country," he said. On the bitterly cold day, very bitter cold day, he attempted to return to a bus stop when his wheelchair got stuck in ice near the road. "Phew," and this is a quote from Mr. Williams again, "Phew, freezing cold. It was freezing cold on Monday," Williams said. A concerned resident, worried about Williams' safety, called the police. Officers Heath Porter and Scott Wohlheter then responded to the scene. And I want to make sure I'm saying it. Heath Porter and Scott Wohlheter. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. They responded. By the way, congratulations to both of you. Thank you to both of you people for going out and helping. And here's the rest of the story. And this is a quote from Mr. Williams again. "My chair got stuck in the ice, and that's when the police helped me." Lieutenant Dennis Garwin of the Canton Police Department explained what the officer saw when approaching Williams. One wheel was locked up, so he wasn't able to move, and he had been out in those conditions for quite some time. The officers provided Williams with gloves and hand warmers and alternated between pushing his wheelchair and blocking traffic with their cruiser to ensure his safety. They were so helpful, I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what I would have been able to do without them, Williams said. The officers continued to assist Williams for several blocks until they flagged down a SARTA bus and helped him on board, SARTA bus. And another quote from Lieutenant Guerin. "This is just something that our officers and our officers throughout the country do on a daily basis. If they see someone who needs something, they help them. They weren't going to leave that gentleman stranded there in the cold." Williams expressed his gratitude, acknowledging that he could have suffered hypothermia without the officers' help. Congratulations, everyone involved in there, and Mr. Williams, certainly thank you for your service. Very much appreciated. Another feel-good story, and if you want to talk about another kind of feel-good story, this is a organization that I want to highlight, and this one is called Turnstone, and they can be found at turnstone.org. This is one I came across over the last week. I read their About Us and some of the things they got going, and I thought they were worth giving a shout out to. So let me talk about Turnstone on their About Us page. And I'm gonna read what they have written here. And the first thing they have is creating possibilities. At Turnstone, we create possibilities. Turnstone is Northeast Indiana's only freestanding, not-for-profit organization, providing a comprehensive continuum of supportive services addressing the unique needs of people with disabilities and their families, which I really like that. The agency is governed by a passionate board of directors and is known for its exceptional staff of licensed professionals, including physical, occupational, speech, and recreational therapists, all the way from fitness specialists, social workers, and educators. Here's their mission. Turnstone empowers people with disabilities to achieve their highest potential by providing comprehensive services and programs. And their mission, the Turnstone mission, Turnstone aspires to a world that accepts and values people based on their abilities. Very cool. And one thing I wanted to talk about with Turnstone, again, you can find Turnstone at turnstone.org. If you happen to be in India, you may know about this organization, but if you do not, this one's definitely worth checking out. And I want to say why. When you go to their recent press release, they talk about some of the things they have going on. So this press release came out on February 13th, but let me read three things that they have going on in the near future. And the article reads, Turnstone Center is set to host an exciting lineup of events in the coming months, bringing elite, adaptive sports, and fan-favorite fundraisers to the Fort Wayne community. Whether you're cheering on a top-ranked team, testing your luck at gaming tables, or volunteering to support these impactful programs, community members play a vital role in making these events a success. There is something for everyone this season at Turnstone. So one is already in the past, but I'm going to give it a shout out anyway. The Midwest Championships for wheelchair basketball, that was held on February 15th through the 16th. Here's some things that are coming up. Matter of fact, tomorrow night. So if you're in the area, go to turnstone.org and find out more. Casino night is tomorrow night, Friday, February 28th. That's the benefit Turnstone, so go check it out if you can. Then on March 8th through 9th, they have the Hoosier Thaw, which is power soccer. And then on April 25th through the 27th, they have the NWBA National Championships, which is wheelchair basketball. So they have a lot of stuff going on, more stuff that I can get into on this podcast. But go check them out. There's a place where you can one-click volunteer, find out about all the volunteering opportunities that you have there, because there's different ways you can give. They also have a donate button. You can click, you can donate. That's one way to give back to an organization. But again, another one is to volunteer. So if you're unable to give monetarily, understood. But you can volunteer your time if you're able. Either one would be, I'm sure, very much appreciated to Turnstone. Turnstone, keep doing the great things you're doing. As a matter of fact, when I went back into the About Us, and they have our history, and one thing I noticed in their Our History, they were founded in 1943, and they had a little different name there. They were the Allen County Society for Crippled Children, and that's when it was formed in 1943. So we're talking a history of, 82 years now, and that's amazing. And a little side note, when I moved from New Jersey to Arizona with my family, I was almost 8 years old, and we went to a place called Arizona's Crippled Children. I don't know if they were associated, but that's where I got my first hooks when I moved to Arizona, so a little side note there. So that's it for news and notes for February, what is today? February 27th, 2025. Please sign up for the newsletter. You'll know when every new episode comes out. Tuesdays, I have a guest. Thursdays, I do these news and notes. I have a lot of fun doing it. And if you've listened to this podcast, well, do me a favor. Before I even get to the last thing I always say, not only subscribe, but if you can like and give feedback on all the platforms, and subscribe on YouTube if you'd like, or any of the other platforms. Hopefully you rate me high. I have 5 fingers. Might as well give me 5 stars on Apple or Spotify or whatever you can do. And if you ever want to reach out to me, Mike@we'renotstumped.com. I will get back to you. No problem on that. I enjoy getting to know more people in this community. But to get back to what I was saying earlier, as we leave here today, I say it every week. Everybody out there, everybody, have a great week.